The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests.
What is going on, my Go Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 299. We are one away from 300. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a little bit, but we are episode number 299. If you're out there in the live chat, go ahead and say something. We don't know that you're out there unless you do. If you have a comment, a question for myself or anyone on the panel, go ahead and tag one of us, and we'll try to get to those questions as long as they're relevant to the conversation. Let's be honest, with the way this thing goes, pretty much everything's relevant, so we'll talk about it as long as we won't get kicked off of YouTube for it. But yeah, if you guys want to text into the show, you go ahead and utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends Rod and Shelly Gates over at Aegis Gun Care. That phone number is 530-364-4678. Go ahead and get my phone out and put that just in case it shows up. And go check out aegisguncare.com. If you're a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole, you're in the darkness and you're looking for that light, call me, text me, email me 24/7. I cannot give you medical advice, but I could probably be a pretty decent ear, maybe listen to you, give you some advice, more just be there for you. If you are looking for someone that can get you towards some medical attention, remember two things. One, you are not alone in this fight. You have a lot of brothers out here that are willing and able to help you in any way possible. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So please utilize the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255. Veterans, press the number 1. We are spotlighting, as always, United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title United States Marine, see the website marines.com. And as always, let me go ahead and put this up here. We are proud members of the Rapid Fire Radio Network and the Self-Defense Radio Network. Go check out all of your favorite pro-gun, pro-2E podcasts over at rapidfireradio.us and selfdefenseradio.net. Let's get this off of my ugly mug, and let's bring in our tour guides for the night. They're going to help me with this riverboat cruise, as you will, to I don't know. Maybe we try to get up the state to the weird state of Ohio, the only state in the union that has 4 letters, but takes 2 people to spell it out. We got Chris from the 740. What's up, brother?
Not much, man. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, man.
Been a good day. Got a bunch of filming done today, and now I'm here relaxing.
Nice. Did I hear that you got a new sponsor to the channel or to the show?
Yeah, we picked up at the Allen Company, so they're supplying all the targets now for the channel. And so yeah, that was pretty cool. It adds up over time buying many targets as I'm shooting in a year's time. So
are they doing like paper or steel or rubber, or what kind of targets are they basically
this time around they just sent me a whole pretty much every type of paper target they had, the splatter ones, the side end targets, the reloading data targets, and
nice.
So it's nice to have some of these companies start taking me serious now. So
that's good. Well, I'm very happy for you, very proud of where you've come, especially in the last, let's say, year that I've known you, and really, really killing it. And Kyle out there, I concur. Kyle says, our good buddy Kyle out at Anderson, he says, Chris has been killing it with the content. Yes, you have. I do want to send a shout out to our brother Kyle out there, feeling a little under the weather, and let's keep him in our thoughts and all of that. I hope you're feeling better. I'm always around, brother. You know that. But yeah, say hi to Kyle up there. And the soulless ginger bastard was on a trip this weekend. I think he came down with some kind of a crud. He said he might jump in if he feels good, but everyone's getting sick, and Chase is probably going to get sick. He's on a cruise, so he's going to get sick. I mean, when you're confined with that many people on a boat, you're bound to get sick. So I'm just happy that I'm not sick. And Clover, Chris, you guys are healthy, I'm assuming?
Yep, I'm healthy as can be.
Well, as far as I know, I mean,
Well, I mean,
does cantankerous and crotchety count as a health issue? I don't think so. So yeah, I'm probably okay.
It's a relative issue here with you. So you're never really okay. You're just kind of okay.
This is very true.
Yeah. That voice of smooth, buttery silk, just that Barry White redneck voice that you guys hear is our co-pilot in this adventure, our shotgun rider, if you will, from the great state of Texas, the tactical leprechaun himself.
And
what's up, Virus?
The only thing that was accurate in that entire monologue of a statement was the greatest state ever, Texas, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's it.
They say that there's two people in the world that you never have to ask about. That's Texans and Marines. I'm both, so I guess they're screwed.
And vegans and CrossFit people.
Well,
and CZ owners.
I would say in the last couple years, a lot of people have made that jump to that status. But historically speaking,
True.
Yeah, Rich says, Ghost, you just made Barry White roll at his grave. That's true. Now, if Barry White was to be a redneck, that would be Clover. That would be Clover. Yeah. Weston says cantankerous and crotchety is a personality. So so he has multiple personalities, cantankerous and crotchety.
Oh, I got more than that. I can assure you.
Oh, we know. You got a shotgun for us, bud?
Man, let's go with a Ruger Red Label, man.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
It's an over-under.
Okay, all right.
Of course.
Speaking of shotguns, picked up.
They don't make anymore, by the way.
Oh, they don't at all?
No. Ruger Red Label, no. I wish they would bring them back, but Ruger is crotchety and cantankerous, apparently. They won't come back. So.
Yeah, you and Ruger would be a match made in heaven, wouldn't you?
If they would come out with a Red Label and send me one, yeah, for sure. I'll shill for anybody. Just send those emails to We'll Shill for Anyone at clovertac.com. We'll get you taken care of.
And that is a legit email, guys. So
100%.
Yeah. You picked, speaking of shotguns, you did pick a one up this weekend.
Dude, I did. Yeah. Man. So what was it?
It's actually better than what you originally thought it could be.
Yeah, it was a score, dude. So 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago or something? I'm doing the CloverTac Reacts 2 series every now and then, right? And I did a video from Dirtbag Outdoors where he was talking about guns that were like great investments going up in price or something like that. And he had Remington 1100s on the list. And I'm like, I'm not seeing that. Like some of the more special Remington 1100s, sure, right? But I'm like, there's one, and this was kind of, I'm giving away the reaction, so spoilers if you hadn't seen that, but I was like, there's been a couple that's sitting in the gun shop racks and have been for weeks or months, heck, I don't know, and they're decent buys, right? Way cheaper than what he was talking about stuff going for. And so I had to go pick up the video that dropped today, the Grimm MC14T, right? And so I had to go to the gun shop and there it sat in the rack, two of them. And I'm like, I might ought to pick, it was a 12 and a 20. And I'm like, I might ought to pick that 12 gauge up. I'm thinking about it. I picked it up. I looked at it. I picked it up. I looked at it. And while I was standing around in there, somebody bought the 20 gauge. And that sealed the deal. I walked over, picked it up, set it behind the counter, and I kind of whispered to that owner. I said, "This one's mine." It's like, okay. So I brought it home with me. Now I knew it wasn't.
Did you want the 20 gauge or
no? I wanted the 12. I wanted the 12. Okay. My dad's got a 12, and honestly, my dad's, which is really cool. My dad's has a Paulie choke, but other than that, it's virtually identical to this one. Same era, same everything. So anyway, the story about it was I knew that it was old, right? And I made a short on that, on how you can kind of tell the age of 1100 and that sort of thing. So anyway, I get it home. I didn't know how old, but I knew it was old. I think I told you probably 70s or something when
Yeah,
we
you,
were
you thought
talking.
you thought early 70s would be a
Yeah.
fair.
So I get it home and I get to looking, and it's a pre-Gun Control Act of 1968. It's a pre-68 for certain, or I say pre-68. It's a 68 or older. Gun Control
It's
Act didn't go into
it's
effect.
yeah, it's pre-gun control. Like it's still
Pre-Gun Control Act. Yeah,
68.
yeah, yeah. The Gun Control Act went into effect in October of
Yeah.
68. For those that don't know, so it could have been made in 68, just pre-October. But anyway, it definitely was not made after the Gun Control Act because of the layout of the serial number. I knew that, and of course, I knew pretty much it was an older model because
Now
it.
you didn't know that it was a pre-gun control act until you actually had
I
it and
did not know
made us see the
that,
numbers.
but
Yeah,
we had talked about it not having screw-in chokes. Well, I knew
correct.
it
Yeah.
was an older model because number one, it was not a vent rib barrel, and number two, it did not have screw-in chokes. Now, the vent rib barrel thing, I'm not up to speed on, but I know that screw-in chokes started with Remington in either like 83 or 86, one of those two. I get them mixed up, right? So I knew, and that's why we talked, and I said probably 70s or so, late 70s.
Yeah.
So I get it home. I didn't even look at the serial number in the shop because it was such a good buy. I didn't really care. And then I
Yeah.
get home, and like we always do, I get to looking over it a little closer, and I realize, whoa, this is pre-Gun Control Act. So then I'm trying to date it. Well, 1100s started production in 1963. So I knew it was somewhere between 63 and 68.
Mhm.
But I couldn't find any definitive markings on the barrel, which is not a good way to date Remingtons because you can change barrels out, right? As long as they're within a certain time frame of each other, anyway. This one won't change out with a modern 1100, for example. But anyway, it's not a great way. So I got in touch with Logan,
Mhm.
High Caliber History. If you don't
High
follow
caliber.
Logan,
Man,
dude,
what a great guy
uh,
on top of that.
Logan knows a lot of stuff. He is actually a firearms historian and works for museums. So I hit him up on the IGs and I said, "Hey, bro, just pick this up. I need some help." And he's like, "Well, what's the numbers on the barrel?" And he told me I was right. Everything that I knew so far, he said, "Yeah, you're 100% accurate. You're right." But I'm like, "Can we narrow it down to any other years?" And he's like, "Well, maybe by stamps on the barrel." And I'm like, "Bro, there's no definitive stamps." So I took the wood off, the handguard off,
Mhm.
and you can make out it's like they tried to stamp either a P or an R, right? And this is going by the potential stamps available at the time, but
Yeah.
it did not stamp because of the curve of the barrel. It didn't stamp good, right?
Ah, yeah,
But
sure.
it can't really be any other letters there but a P and an R, right? Like a P does not look like a P, even a parcel. You know what I'm saying? Or an O, for example, or something like that. It looks a little different. Even a partial stamp would look a little different. So and that's what we kind of come to the consensus that this is either a 67 or 68 because the P and R, P was 67, R was 68. So definitely pre-Gun Control Act, 67 or 68. Been used. It's got some character. It's got some marks on it. It's got a few scratches. It's got some dings and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
a fine example of an early Remington 1100. So, shout out to Dirtbag Outdoors for making that video and prompted me to do the reaction. And because otherwise, somebody probably would have picked it up other than me.
Yeah, I want to give a quick plug.
Well, you probably
Because
need to take some Benadryl first with all the shotguns.
I definitely get some calamine lotion sitting off camera.
We don't want you passing out during the middle of the show from all the shotgun talk.
No. We're 14 minutes in. All we talk about is shotguns. This is not good. But I will give a plug. If you guys are in the collector's realm or you're looking to get into the collector's realm, or you have a buddy or someone that has a question on weapons and all of that, do reach out to Logan. That dude is literally probably the most knowledgeable firearm person that I know. I'm telling you, he's a great guy. But he'll if he knows the answer, he'll let you know. And if he doesn't, I guarantee if he doesn't know the answer, there's only a handful of people in the world that do, and he probably knows them. So he can get you those answers.
And the beautiful thing about Logan is if he doesn't know the answer, he wants to know the answer just as much as you do. So he will figure it out and help you figure it out because he wants to know as well. He don't want to go through life not knowing something about a gun. I can promise you.
Yeah, he's literally when you start talking about like the handful of people in the world, whatever subject you're talking about, like he's amongst that conversation. Like he's legit.
Oh, and the iconic firearms he's been able to handle, like literal hands-on. We can go see stuff in museums, but imagine him, the curator,
he's been able to put the white gloves and actually
touch them and clean them and restore them and different things. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. But reach out to High Caliber History. Like I said, he's a really good guy. I had the pleasure of, SHOT 2018, 2019, when I got invited to Tonto's premiere at SHOT Show that 1 year. And so I got to go in and we got to sit down and he like in the VIP section. And there's Logan, like in my chair. It was like a theater chair, but it had like the recliner and had all that stuff. And he was sitting in the recliner next to me. So I was like, hey, what's up, man? So it was kind of cool to see him. And you start talking guns with him. Like you feel incredibly inferior when you're talking firearms with him. But he doesn't make you feel inferior. You just know that you are,
Yeah, the stuff he can rattle off is just, it's amazing. Take anybody you know that you think knows guns, multiply that by about 1,000, and that's probably where Logan sits. Yeah,
Wes says he wishes he was still doing his podcast. Yeah, I'm sure he's busy. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen him the last couple SHOT shows, but that doesn't mean he wasn't there. I just haven't seen him. But
I think I did run into him this year. I think I did run into him. Okay. Seems like I did.
I didn't. So
maybe not. I could be confused. We see a lot of people, but it seems like I did.
You need to get him on the late podcast again.
Oh, yeah, get him on again? Yeah. Oh,
100%. Update kind of what he's been doing and all. There's no telling. Reason why he might not be around is he might be doing some cool ass shit in some museums,
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Yeah. John Grimm out there says, hello, folks. Best of luck to everyone on the giveaways. Let's talk about the giveaway real quick. So
you paid John for that segue. Don't lie.
I did. Checks in the mail, John Grimm 777. Faux shizzle. Next week is the 300th episode, and we're not going to give them away next week. We're going to give them away the week after, and all of that. We wanted to do a 2-week lead up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen real quick and talk about what we're going to give away. It's pretty good. You guys have heard me talk about them on different podcasts. You've heard me. I've had the guys on the podcast before. But let me go ahead and share the screen. We're going to give away from Hyperion Munitions, great friends of the channel. They sponsor the Jarhead podcast. You guys are familiar with that podcast. But Hyperion's going to give away the Precise Trigger Control. And basically what it does is on AR platform, it replaces your trigger guard. But the cool thing about it is it's got a little set screw in there. So basically what you do is when you pull the trigger, and let's say you let it go to reset, you tighten that screw right there, and that's where that trigger stops. It automatically just stops at that reset. So it doesn't have to go all the way. It's just going to be boom, boom, boom. It's going to from that point on, that trigger is at reset, which is a really, really cool thing. Probably pretty awesome for me competitive shooters until they ban them. Anything that good comes along, USPSA and IDPA and all these guys, they will eventually ban most of the good things. But I think it'd be kind of pretty cool. But really quick follow-up shots, really quick accurate shots and all that. But they're not just giving away one of them. They're going to give away 10 of them. 10 Precise Trigger Control groups. It took me maybe 2 minutes to install mine. It's just like reinstalling any other trigger guard on any AR. You just pop the pins, put it in there, and then once you got it down, you just set that screw. There's a video on the website if you want to watch it. That's awesome. But it's a pretty cool little accessory for the AR platform, and they are going to give 10 of them away. 10 of them, not next week, but the week after that so that would make that the 25th. Is that right? 2 weeks from today. We'll just give you a little background. It says that it replaces any standardized trigger guard on AR's lower receiver. There are some set screws in a place and a screw that comes up underneath your grip, removing the extra pre-travel and post-travel of the trigger. That makes the mil-spec trigger feel like a high-end drop-in trigger that will increase your shooting performance. The PTC allows for more accuracy, less margin for trigger movement error, and faster speed. The ultimate PTC unit will take your competitive and recreational shooting to the next level, whether it's hog hunting or a 3-gun competition or 2-gun. This is a must-have. I agree. Like I said, it took me about 2 minutes to install it, and it's pretty cool. It is really, really cool. I've got it installed on the Jarhead build. But yeah, we're going to give 10 of those away. So on the pinned comment, and I'll put it out here as well. All you got to do is send an email to, let me go up here and copy this. I'm just going to put it in here for people that aren't watching. Malia at poweronmarketing.com, and you just use a subject. Just put the subject Ghost Tactical. Email your name so they know who it is. Malia at Power On Marketing. It's in the pinned comment on the chat up there. So go ahead and check that out. And, but yeah, it's a great little accessory, very easy to install. It's really going to help you out, whether you're shooting competition or not. I really have enjoyed it. I saw it for the first time at SHOT Show and in the Hyperion booth. And man, I was like, what the hell is that? And, it's pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome. We're going to give 10 of them away, 10. So make sure in the next couple of weeks, we'll talk about it. I'll put posts out there. There's going to be a video that I put out this weekend. It's going to be about the PTC. So you'll get an idea of close-ups of it, how it works and all that. And we'll talk about it next week as well. There'll be posts after post after post reminding you about the giveaway. We're going to give away 10 of those for the 300th episode. Actually going to be doing in episode 301. They're actually going to come on to the show and do the drawing live. You don't necessarily have to be here to win, but I'd appreciate it if you were here. If you entered the win, go ahead and show up on the 25th, and we're going to announce the 10 winners live with Hyperion and all that on the show live. So yeah, Malia at poweronmarketing.com. Send your email, your name to that with the subject Ghost Tactical. That's all you got to do. It's pretty simple. You don't have to like anything. You don't have to subscribe to anyone. You don't have to share anything. None of that stuff to all that. All this is send an email with your name, subject Ghost Tactical. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's take that off for now. We'll come back to that in a little bit. You guys know that every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday, we have our Ghost Tactical polls, a.k.a. the Pony Polls. Brought to you by our good friends of Anderson Manufacturing. We have some fun with these polls, and let's kind of go through them real quick. The one sent out yesterday has 2.3 thousand votes. First of all, thank you guys for always. We always have great turnout on our polls. We always have over 1,000, usually over 1,500. We've been going over 2,000 a lot in the last month on each of our polls. So thank you guys for always participating in those polls. We have a little fun with them. They're not always serious. They're just kind of fun. So thank you for always doing that, guys. And if you haven't been involved with the polls, go check them out every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday at 10 a.m. on our community tab. This one from yesterday, 2.3 thousand votes. Of these, which is your favorite? Talking movies here now, Chris and Clover. Movies, war movies, if you will. 13 Hours, American Sniper, Jarhead, or Lone Survivor. There is no wrong answer. Chris, which one do you go with?
Man, I really like Jarhead out of those four. They're all good, but I'd have to go with Jarhead on that one.
So Jarhead's interesting because a lot of people aren't fans of it because it is a little bit slow. There are times that it's a little bit weird, if you will. But I'll tell you what. if anyone has been downrange, been overseas, and been somewhere, that might be the most accurate of what life is. It's a lot of nothing. Hurry up and wait is what you will. Yeah, Jimmy Fox, what Kyle out there says, Jimmy Fox kills it. Yeah, that's the way a lot of gunnies are. You know, that they're going to care about you, but they're there to train you up, and they're there to make you right. But the part about Jarhead is it's very accurate, the depiction of life overseas. Everyone thinks everything's just high pace and all that. Not so much sometimes. You know, it is what it is. But it's a great movie. But it was getting a little bit of hate in the comments. A little bit of hate. I don't think people truly appreciate Jarhead for what it is. John says he'd go with Jarhead on that poll. It's a slow burn, but it develops character in the story, makes it relatable. Yeah. A slow burn. That's actually, I like that. It's a slow burn. It is a slow burn. Clover, of those 4, do you have a favorite?
What was the criteria for putting those 4 in? I'm just curious.
Those are 4 of my favorite kind of war movies of the last 15, 20 years.
An Act of Valor never crossed your mind?
It did. But that is some of those things to where, for me,
that was real, like that.
No,
was
real SEALs, active duty SEALs doing that. But a lot of people never heard of Active Valor, so I knew it wouldn't get many votes. You know what I'm saying?
It needs to get out there just so people go watch Active Valor. People,
well, yeah. The
gunboat scene alone is worth a watch. Alone is worth a watch.
When the SWIC team comes in and unloads that minigun on the bank,
lights up those trucks.
There's not a better 20 seconds in cinema history.
No,
folks. Just saying,
there's not. And then realize that's all real military men and women in that.
So the funny thing is, we've talked about this, Clover, many times. The funny thing about Active Valor, I remember watching it for the first time years ago, and I was like, this is the worst movie, like worst acting I've ever seen. I didn't know anything about this. I found it on like Netflix or something. I was like, well, this sounds like a fun.
I didn't think so.
Oh, I just thought it was just terrible.
Just was real. It seemed like real and gritty to me.
It was, but I also noticed that all of the handling, all of the team movements, everything was like incredibly precise and 100% accurate. And I remember talking to you about it. I was like, whoever trained those fools on that movie must be one hell of an instructor, because those guys were spot on. Well, a year or so later, I'm reading something and it says Active Valor. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. And it said that the actors weren't actors. They were legit active duty, not retired, active duty Navy SEALs. So I was like, well, that makes sense on why the freaking handling and the movements and communication and all that was like spot on perfect, they're real guys. So now I enjoy it so much more now because I know that, and I'm not expecting the acting to be Oscar worthy,
Yeah. So anyway, Active Valor in protest, but out of the list.
No. I didn't want it to get demolished, and I knew it would. But I will say you're right. Everybody needs to go watch Active Valor. It is unreal.
Out of the list, I probably go Lone Survivor, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
The book is much better with American Sniper than the movie. Like leaps and bounds, there is no contest. So if you haven't read the book, go do that.
Go read Lone Survivor also.
Lone Survivor was a little bit truer to the book toward the latter end.
Yep.
And so I think that's why I lean Lone Survivor. The interaction with the locals and stuff was more true to the book. Now leading up to that, not really, but that part was. And so, and I really liked that part. I liked how the locals took care of him, and
that's a real thing.
And it really showed that even in a crap hole in the third world area, there's still decent human beings on the planet.
Yep. Every year, Marcus and that guy talk. And I know that he's brought him to America a couple different times. He's gone over there, or at least overseas. I don't know if there, but he's gone overseas to meet up with him and his family. The one thing about the book versus the movie on Lone Survivor is the movie, obviously for time constraints, make it seem like he was with that family for a few hours. He was there for a week or so, like week or 10 days before they came and got him.
Yeah.
And just people don't realize the torture that man went through by the Taliban. Like they tortured him. Like he wasn't already broke every bone in his body. Like if you ever listen to him tell a story, first of all, if you never listen to Marcus give a speech, go on YouTube after the show, go to YouTube and just Google Marcus Latrell speech. I don't care if you don't like the military, if you don't have a patriotic bone in your body, it doesn't matter. You listen to Marcus give his speech and all of that, and you don't feel proud to be where we are in this world, there's something's wrong with you. But he'll tell you, like, he had, like, his face was, like, smashed in, like, literally smashed in. Almost every bone in his body was broken. And the movie can't really depict all that. The movie can't show that he was in captivity for almost a week. And honestly, the Taliban had him for a couple days and just tortured the hell out of him. They don't talk about that in the movie. But yes, it is very, very close as far as the relationship. 100%. I would agree with you. Obviously,
after he come down off the mountain or whatever.
Yeah. After you come off the mountain and all of that, then yeah,
or after he was found, I should say, is that part's fairly. Yeah.
Yeah. Great movie. I mean, I watch all four of these. I watch all of them regularly, honestly. 13 Hours, great movie about Benghazi. And I'm lucky to call one of the people that were there a dear friend of mine. And I remember talking with him or texting him one time. My daughter loves 13 Hours. And so I text Tonto one time. We were watching, my daughter asked, she's like, is he really wearing shorts? And I was like, let's find out. So I sent a text to him. I said, were you really wearing shorts? And he goes, yeah, I still have them. And he still has everything that he wore that day. He still has them. And he said, the funny thing is he was wearing a Mickey Mouse t-shirt, but Disney would not allow that movie, which I think is stupid, because why wouldn't they want that? But Disney wouldn't allow that studio to have him wearing a Mickey Mouse t-shirt in the movie. I'm thinking, why wouldn't they? That's just great advertising.
That's taken the whole copyright licensing thing, I think, a bit too far.
Yeah.
Right. It's a totally like acceptable, normal part of human interaction to wear a shirt like that or whatever. So
Yep. This is true. Guns and Barbecue says a lot of people don't know that Marcus is actually in the movie. Yeah. So if you watch kind of like the beginning of the movie where the team, before they go out on Red Wings, the team's kind of around. They've got the young guy that's got to give the SEAL speech and all that. But there's a guy that's always wearing a stocking cap, sunglasses, and a big burly beard. Big guy, like 6'5" guy. That's actually Marcus. He doesn't play Marcus in the movie. Obviously, Mark Wahlberg does, but he plays one of the guys on the team, and he's in several scenes, and he's always got a stocking cap on, sunglasses, and a big old beard. That's actually Marcus Latrell. So that's a pretty cool thing. Oh, snap. Yehuda Shalom. What's going on, buddy? Good to see Yehuda out here. Yeah. And it said it's a movie about American patriotism. Yep. Yeah, he said that the copter that's the QRF and shot down. Yeah, so I think one of them did get shot down. I mean, I don't know if anyone. Yeah, I think there are people that were died on that. A lot of people died in the rescue mission for Marcus, but one of the helos did get shot down. If you listen to Marcus, he'll tell you that the helo that he left out on, he said that pilot was crazy because it was like on a side of a cliff that had like no room for a mistake. He either landed it perfectly or he was dead. And that helo pilot came in and just slammed it down the side of this mountain cliff. And he said, a foot here, a foot there, and it's gone. So it's But yeah, it's crazy. 13 hours, Benghazi. Go check that out. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, they didn't allow him to use the Mickey Mouse T-shirt in the movie, which I think is just asinine. But that's a great movie. American Sniper, everyone knows Chris Kyle's story. Book better than the movie.
Way
I think
more stories and funny.
Yeah,
the
I
book
think
is
most
just funny.
Yeah, I think, but in general, can we mostly say that most books are going to be better than movies because there is more in depth? They are able to put more information. They can make it a 600-page novel that they got to squeeze into an hour and 45 minutes or something, you know. So there's always going to be that. Faux shizzle, and then Jarhead. Obviously, we talked about Jarhead earlier. So 2.3 thousand votes, 40% say American Sniper. 20. This is a pretty close one because they're all four of them are great. 40% say American Sniper, 23% say 13 Hours, 22% say Lone Survivor, and 16% say Jarhead. Pretty close all around. Our next poll was Saturday, 1.9 thousand votes. Of these, what's your favorite beer? Budweiser, Coors, Corona, or Heineken? Clover, if you were going to drink a beer of those four, which one would you choose?
Man, you'd have to just about force me to drink any beer. So that's hashtag not my poll. Oh man, you'll probably Heineken.
Yep.
Forced to pick between, I'd pick none of them. I'd pick a screwdriver or something over that. But forced to pick one of those four, like.
A screwdriver, like the tool or the drink?
Well, like
screwdriver.
The drink, man. Come on.
Okay, I didn't know if you were like a tool. I'm like, why would?
Yeah, like the drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Heineken. If definitely not. What was it? Bud Light, Budweiser? Like, absolutely not. Like, automatically off. And I'm not talking about for more recent political reasons or whatever the heck. Like, I never have been a fan of Bud Light and Budweiser stuff in general. So it'd be between Corona and Heineken, and I think Heineken might be the better of the two. And that's not saying much because I don't like any of them, but
no, I hear you. Coors, I think, got a lot of votes for if people are familiar with Smoking the Bandit. I tell you what was hilarious. Speaking of the political crap that goes on,
Coors was on the list.
Yeah, Budweiser, Coors, Corona, and Heineken. Yeah, Coors original, not Coors Light. Coors, the gold can, the original.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I still go Heineken though.
Yeah, but a lot of people were talking about I'm never going to drink any. It was like Corona because I'm never going to drink another Budweiser product again. Corona is owned by Anheuser-Busch, so just throwing it out.
Hey, well, I made the better choice all the way around then.
You did. Yeah, you did. Yeah,
I never drank any of them to start with, so it doesn't matter to me. Boycott away, as far as I'm concerned.
Mike out there says, why isn't Stella Artois on the list? Because
rednecks can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, Gun Snob says Clover seems like a Zima guy. I have drank my fair share of Zima. Thank you very much.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was in high school and Zima first came out, I was a Zima
dude. I'll give you a little tip if you're talking about the Zima-ish stuff anyway, and you're welcome if you try it. Go get the Smirnoff. I guess they're wine coolers, the flavored Smirnoff stuff.
Yeah.
Then go get you a bag of Jolly Ranchers and drop you a Jolly Rancher that corresponds with the flavor of the Smirnoff into the Smirnoff and let it sit for about 30 seconds before you start drinking it. You're welcome.
Way too much work for me, man.
Oh, it's nice. Oh, God.
Way too much work.
So good.
Just want to drink. It's all good. Christopher?
This one's an easy one for me. I'm drinking my Coors Light right now.
There you go. So do you like the original Coors or just Coors Light? I mean, have you had the regular Coors?
Yeah, I like regular Coors too. But yeah, I like the light.
Yep.
I do like Heineken though. Heineken's like one of them beers I like to drink with a meal or something.
Yeah. Heineken's, for beers, not bad. My favorite beer is Shinerbach. It's a Texas beer.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't
on the list, or I'd have probably went Shinerbach.
No, I would.
Another one that wasn't on the list, but it's kind of hard to do because they got 14 billion different kinds of Sam Adams. But I've been known to drink some Sam Adams stuff.
Yeah. Corona's not bad. If I'm going to go with a Mexican beer, I actually like Dos Equis. Dos Equis is a better.
I would agree. Yeah.
More than Corona. I just like the Corona commercial because Snoop Dogg's on them. So,
I've never understood why Dos Equis has always been kind of overshadowed by Corona.
Advertising
I think
dollars.
it's a lot better beer.
Ghost hit on it earlier. It's because of the advertising dollars behind it.
Anheuser-Busch owns Corona, so they're going to have a lot of money to spend on that. I mean, you look at the recent commercial. You've got Snoop Dogg, you've got Tony Romo, you've got the guy from Saturday Night Live. What was his name? They've got some serious names as their talent on all that. Yingling's not bad yet. Yingling's not. There was a beer that I drank a lot of in high school that we just thought we were high class because we were drinking it, but it was called St. Paulie Girl. I don't know if you remember St. Paulie Girl or not. I don't know if it was a good beer or not. We could get it pretty cheap where I lived and all of that. So when you go to the same gas station that never cards anyone, you kind of just go with what they have. So we did. We drink a lot of St. Paulie Girl, and we drank a lot of Bull Moose. You guys ever had Bull Moose? The Bull Moose beer? That might be a Texas thing. I don't know. It was pretty bad, but once again, we drank whatever we could.
It could be Pabst or Old Milwaukee, or come on, like
Yeah.
Man, you had to have a stomach of iron in high school then if you're drinking St. Paulie Girl. That's a stout German beer right there.
It is. Understand that I might have had a little problem back in those days. I think a lot of us had a problem.
Although it was smart because you were getting more alcohol per beer than you would have been out of a lot of the other ones. So
yeah. Oh, so Snob brings up a good one. He says, I drink high class beer, Keystone Light. So if you're about our age, you remember the Keystone Light Tall Boys. I don't even know if the Tall Boys are still around, but they had Tall Boys back in the day. Now there was a beer, and Clover knows what I'm talking about. There was a beer called Lone Star.
Oh yeah,
it's a Texas beer. It's damn near like flavored piss. Honestly, let's just be real about it.
It's a Texas version of Old Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's disgusting, right? Yeah. It makes PBR and all that like good beer.
Yeah.
But we could get back in the day. We could get, now I'm not talking a case. I was talking like back then a case was 24. They weren't 30 packs. They were 24 packs, right? Yeah. 4 6-packs basically. We could get a case of Lone Star Light for like $6. You could literally buy a case of beer for stuff you find on your couch, right? So what we would do is we would go and get a case of Lone Star Light, and then we get a 6-pack of Keystone Tall Boys, and we'd shotgun the Keystone Light Tall Boys so that we would have something that tastes rather decent in our mouths before we start drinking the flavored piss. So for us, the Keystone Light Tall Boys were high quality beer compared to what we were getting ready to drink the rest of the night.
Now, with Keystone, does anybody find themselves when somebody goofs up or does something going smooth, just like Keystone? I still use that line, and every now and then somebody will catch on. Or I will say, or every now and then somebody will do something and I'll go smooth like that, and they'll reply with just like Keystone, and it makes my day. I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome.
I don't remember. I remember the ad thing, but I don't remember using it myself. I might have.
Just like Keystone.
There's a good chance. There's a lot of shit that I don't remember from Friday and Saturday nights in high school. No telling what I was talking about back then. But yeah, I remember, speaking of Shinerbach, that was kind of when Shinerbach started kind of coming out, was when I was in high school. So you could get Shinerbach like for nothing because they were just trying to get people to buy it and get the name out there. So you could get Shinerbach for like maybe $8 or $9 for a case of beer. And we're talking about Shinerbach, which now is a really good beer. And it was just one of those things where they were just trying to get it out, the name out. So we were able to buy I see about $8 $8 or so for a case. So it was nice. It was back in the day, man. You could buy a lot of beer for cheap. Not so much anymore. 30-pack costs you what, about $20-$25 these days, so
I don't know, but I contend that you can almost buy beer cheaper than soda nowadays. Good God, the price of
soda's getting expensive.
I was seeing $7.99 for a 12-pack the other day, like name brand, like Coke, and I'm like, holy
Yeah.
crap, $7.99 for a 12-pack? Like, we're beyond the 50 cent a can point.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure.
holy crap.
Yeah, I remember we were talking. I was talking with someone. Hell, it might have been, I don't know, might have been you. I don't know. But we were talking about when I was in high school, gas cost $1 a gallon. Cigarettes cost $2 for a pack, and you could get a case of beer for $6. Might not have been good beer, but you could get a case of beer for $6. That is not the case on any of those counts anymore. So, real quick shout out to Mandatory Carry, $3 super chat. He says he'll call fixed now. 5 minutes from home. Don't be texting and super chatting while you're driving. Thank you very much. I remember this. Yeah, he said Defense says we drink a lot of MGD in college. $9.99 long neck cases. I forgot about MGD. MGD had a nice little run there for a few years. Yeah, I forgot about MGD. Yeah, there was something about MGD that was kind of like, I don't remember what it was, but it was kind of like they changed the game. I don't remember. What was it they did? I can't remember. There was something about MGD that was different back in the day. I don't remember what it was. But MGD was not bad. I drink a lot of Coors Light. Drink a lot of Lone Star, but a lot of Keystone. Most of us drink Coors Light. I don't know. It's because that's what our, some of our buddies' dads always had. They go steal from the ranch refrigerator or whatever. But we drink a lot of Coors Light. That's probably why I don't drink Coors Light anymore, Chris. I just had so much of it when I was a kid. It's what it is, Wait till college. What are we talking about here? What funny thing is, and I'll ask you this. I drank way too much from the time I was about 15 to I was 21. Honest to God, I still drink a couple times a year. I don't drink much anymore, hardly ever. But I even after I turned 21, I drank quite a bit. But it seems like to me that I did like 90% of my just crazy ass drinking before I was 21. And I wonder if that was because it was more of a how do I put this? A test, or it was more of like a mission to be able to buy beer before you're 21 or what. But did you guys drink as much after you turned 21 as you did before, or was it just me?
Oh, definitely less, way less.
You drink less after you turned 21?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why that was.
Definitely better stuff when I drank. Like I won't drink a beer, like I said, very rarely, if like ever.
I don't drink beer anymore.
It's gone, but it's because in those teenage days it was just so much. That was the easiest thing to get, like you said, cases, and some kid's dad's garage or whatever the case may be, wherever it come from, bootleggers, or it was easy to get or whatever. It was cheap to get a lot of it for cheap and that sort of stuff. And so, you get so much of that, and then you turn 21, and then you go into liquor stores and you actually buy good stuff yourself. You start buying the whiskeys and the rums and the vodkas and the other things, and you start playing around with, mixed drinks and, old fashions and whatever it might be. And you're like, holy crap, why was I drinking that nasty piss water for? Like,
yeah, that was the same way. I didn't drink nearly as much after I was 21, but I drank much better. Yeah, I found all sorts of stuff that I found, the Belvedere vodkas, if you will. I remember someone brought up Mad Dog 2020. For me, it was Boone Strawberry Hill, baby.
Yeah.
Mad Dog I drink. I had Brass Monkey every now and then. A lot of stuff was just nasty. But I mean, who out there didn't drink Boone's Farm at least once when they were in high school?
So I'll tell you what we would do with Boone's Farm. We would get a bottle of Boone's Farm, and we would go out to the we'd go out, hang out at the park a lot, and they had, and they may still have them at parks, but the big corkscrew slides for the kids to go down.
Yeah.
And the objective would be to drink that bottle of Boone's Farm as fast as you can drink it, right? Climb up to the top of the slide down that big tall corkscrew slide, and then try to stand up. And that was an objective. Very few people could do that.
No, I get it. I get it.
Because by the time you climbed up the thing, and then by the time you was dizzy from sliding down and the alcohol kicking in and everything else, like, you did good not to throw up, let alone stand up.
Yeah, I have been blessed in my life to my remembrance, which might not be a good thing. I don't even know if remembrance is a word, but to my recollection, I've never had a hangover. Been very, very lucky in my life. I unfortunately have had several blackouts in my life. Those are interesting when you wake up and you really don't know where you are or how you got there or who is this person next to you, any of that stuff. Interesting times, but I remember we would get so shit faced in high school, and there was like an elementary school a couple blocks from most of our houses and all of that, and we would go and just get hammered, and we go, our girlfriends and all, we'd go out to like the elementary school and just hang out. Like there were basketball court and all that, and play about 3 a.m, just hanging out. But do you remember on the playgrounds that thing that you had to hold on, but it spun and like, try get that some bitch when you're hammered. That's not good. Yeah. We would sit there. We'd all put, now back in the day, we'd all put like $5 in the pot, and we would just spin it, and the last person to be on won everything. And we would be, I mean, oh man, now you could be on it, but if you like threw up, you were out. Whether you were out, or not, it was the last person to be there without getting sick and all of that. Tetherball, hell yeah, we played tetherball all the time. Drunk tetherball is fun.
That's called hit the other person in the face balls. What that's called.
Pretty much what it is. Yes. But yeah, I don't know what that thing is called, but that was one of the funnest times we would have. Chris is sitting there being
around. I guess it's a merry-go-round. I guess
he is under indictment for still some of the stuff, or he's worried about being indicted for some of the stuff he did, or he's just laughing at us. But I bet you in Ohio they did some stupid stuff in cornfields and shit up there.
Yeah, I could probably write a couple books on all the stuff I've done. I lived a whole different life at one time. But yeah, I've been there. I've been on the blackouts and the.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. Because you don't know, like you suspect that you didn't do anything like terrible, but just that thought of, I have no idea what happened in that 3 or 4 hour span of my life is kind of interesting, to say the least. Yeah. John says they probably tipped cows and stuff in Ohio. Then again, they did that in Texas too. I can neither confirm nor deny any cow tipping that took place at all. Cannot confirm or deny that. May or may not have happened several times. I don't know. That was kind of a common occurrence. If you grow up in Texas and you have friends that have ranches and have cattle, I mean, let's just be honest. It might happen. I don't know. Anyway, I think Clover's fighting a wasp right now, and he is dangerously allergic to wasps. So, we all got to play drunk Uno with some shots of Crown Hennessy or whatever the hell that last one is. Probably not. Are you talking about at SHOT Show? Then definitely not. I don't have time to sit down and play Uno. Just saying.
I saw earlier he was talking about the price of beer in Vegas. Yeah.
The price of everything in Vegas is expensive unless you're in a casino gambling. If you're gambling in a casino, you probably are going to be able to get free drinks, but you're going to have to spend some money to do that.
Yeah.
Are you really getting them for free?
No.
You lose $100 and get a couple of drinks. I mean, that's what it is. But yeah, let's see. Let's go back here. 1.9 thousand votes. 43% say Corona, 31% say Coors, 17% say Heineken, and surprisingly, Budweiser got 9%. Just saying. Budweiser was a beer that my dad drank. He enjoyed it, and then he also enjoyed a good Heineken, but his beer of choice was definitely going to be Budweiser, Bud Heavy, if you will. But yeah. Last one, 2.2 thousand votes was last Thursday. What caliber of these? What caliber is your favorite for your everyday carry? I put 22 LR, 9mm, 45 ACP, 380, or other. Let's go to Chris first, because I think Clover still might be battling a big wasp. So, what's your favorite carry caliber?
9mm.
There you go. I knew I liked you for a reason. I honestly wouldn't have a problem with any of these. Maybe 9 and 380 for sure. I think you could probably add in 10mm. I think that could be interesting depending on the type of gun. I'm not a big guy, so 45 and 10 and all that, depending on the gun, can be kind of tough because I don't like carrying full size guns every day. I'm more subcompact and all of that. But a good subcompact, maybe 10mm. That's maybe like a Witness 2311 coming out at theaters near you, but something like that. No, but a good 10mm is great. But I tend to go with 380 and 9 because I do like compacts, subcompacts, because I don't like carrying full size guns because I'm not a big guy. Carrying a 6-inch, leave that out there for right now. Carrying a 6-inch is tough for me, but no, carrying a 6-inch gun is tough for me. Clover, you still fighting wasps?
No, I'm back. I got him.
Did he get you first?
No. I'm too quick.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard this one.
No, I didn't.
I know what it is. I know what your answer is, but I want you, but what's your favorite caliber for carrying every day? 22 LR, 9, 45, 380, or other? I know what you're going to say.
That's obvious. It's 380.
Yeah. There's a shirt that I was telling Clover about earlier on the phone. I saw today. I was stopped by the gas station to get some tobacco cancer sticks, and guy in front of me had his t-shirt on. It had like 22 LR, 380, 9mm, 45, and it said something like all of these are better than a phone call or faster than a phone call. And I was like, oh, that's a really cool shirt. I said, hey man, I didn't see who made it. I didn't see the front of it. I just saw the back, but it was a pretty cool shirt. And ironically, this was my poll that I put out last week, but I just saw it. I was kind of, that's kind of cool. But yeah, a lot of people were saying 40. They're all wrong. A lot of 10mm love. And I was telling Chris, I don't know if you're here, I wouldn't mind carrying 10mm. The problem is I don't like carrying full size guns when I do carry. So 10mm is great. And in like a Witness 2311 or something to be fun. But most 10mm that are compact, let's say 4-inch barrels, are pretty rough.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. With sure enough defensive 10mm.
Oh,
yeah. They're a little tough. I mean, 45 is even milder than, to me, in a smaller handgun than 10mm is.
Yep. Real quick, I want to touch on this again. If you guys are just new to the show or just turning up in the last few minutes, we are doing a giveaway. We're going to run it for 2 weeks. So it'll be on the live show on the 25th. The 25th, we will announce the winner, but there's more than one winner. And what are we giving away? We are giving away from Hyperion Munitions. We're going to give away the Precise Trigger Control, and it replaces your trigger guard on your AR platforms. It takes about 2 minutes. It took me about 2 minutes. So for a normal human being, it'd take about 45 seconds, but it took me 2 minutes. But it replaces your trigger guard, which is real simple to change out, but it's got a screw in it to where you pull a trigger and then you bring that trigger back to reset. And then you kind of just tighten that screw down, and that's where the trigger goes from that point on. It's that real quick, like 1.5 pound trigger, whatever. But it's real quick from reset. It's right there. It's a really cool device. Saw it at SHOT Show this year. Hyperion's been great. They sponsor the Jarhead podcast, so thank you to them for that. But they also wanted to be involved with our 300th episode of the podcast, Armed Citizen Podcast. They're going to give away 10 of these. 10. So I'm going to type out the what do you call it? Email. And it's pinned up there as well. If you guys see the pinned message, it'll tell you what to do. All you got to do is send an email to malia@poweronmarketing.com with your name. That's all you have to put in there. I'll put it out here also just as a link. Malia@poweronmarketing with just your name if you want to in there, but your subjects, just put Ghost Tactical. If you put Ghost Tactical in the subject, you are entered. That's it. You don't have to follow anybody. You don't have to subscribe to anybody. You don't have to like anything. You don't have to share anything. Literally send an email with your name on it to Malia@poweronmarketing with the subject of the email being Ghost Tactical, and you are entered. We're going to give 10 of these away for free 2 weeks from tonight. So thank you to them. They're being involved with the 300th show, which will be next week. We're going to have a little cool show next week. And then the week after that, we'll have them. Actually, they're going to come onto the show as well. And we're going to give away live 10 Precise Trigger Control groups. So it's pretty cool. Saying thank you to them as well. So yeah, we'll come back later on, talk about that again if you want. But yeah, email Malia, subject Ghost Tactical with your name in it. So what I wanted to do real quick is talk about carry guns. That's why the poll was there. And we've talked about guns that we like, and we talked about calibers that we like. We've even talked about what type of carry ammo. I think last week we talked about the V-Crowns and the different types of defensive carry ammo that we like and use and have used and all that. But what I want to talk about now tonight for the little bit of time we have left, and let us know out there as well in the chat, answer to the question as well. But what was the first gun that you bought specifically to carry? Not a gun that you already had that say, I can carry this, but what was the first gun, if you remember, that you specifically bought to be a carry gun, and why? So I'm going to start with you, Chris. Do you remember the first gun that you said, I'm buying this for the specific purpose of carrying?
It's funny you brought that up because I just did a video Sunday. We're all doing those videos for Lakeview Outdoors right now, our first gun. Mm-hmm. And I don't have my first rifle or my first shotgun, but I do have my first handgun that I bought for carry.
Yep.
My first gun that I bought was a Walther PK380.
Really?
Yeah.
Ghost loves that. Ghost loves that handgun, by the way.
What a piece of shit. And I love Walther, but that, to me, we were actually, ironically, Chloe and I were talking about that piece of shit earlier. I haven't shot it in several years. It shoots fine. Don't get me wrong. It shoots fine. To me, the upper and the lower, and that's the upper and lower, you guys know what I mean, the slide versus the frame, but the upper and the lower are two completely different guns. Like the slide and the barrel and all that is Walther, But to me, the frame is that polymer crap, but it's like the cheap polymer like they use for airsoft guns. Do you get that? Did I just get a bad one, or did you get that same kind of vibe?
It's funny you say that because I talked about that in the video. I said if I would have known then what I know now, I would have never bought it. And I've kept it. I got that gun out of the safe Sunday morning. I bet I hadn't shot it in 5 or 6 years. And I remembered why I hadn't shot it when I got it to the range.
It shoots fine. It shoots. It just feels crappy. It looks crappy. It just when you think Walther, you think of a certain quality, right?
Yeah.
And that one just isn't.
No. And the thing is like I didn't know anything about handguns back then. I was always a rifle guy, and but I loved Walther, and at the time that's what I could afford. And I was like, oh, it's a Walther, it can't be bad. But yeah, so and you know that pinky.
You should have gone with a PP. You should have gone with a PPK.
Yeah, or a P99 or whatever they had out back then.
I mean, that's a great gun.
Well, that PK 380 is not even built by Walther. So
it's built by Umarex.
Right.
But it's the same company, same building. I've been to their building. It's the same building.
I'll tell you what drives me nuts about that gun. You know how it has that pinky extension like on the mag?
Yeah,
that thing wiggles around like you can feel it while you're shooting.
It's terrible.
Yeah. But I kept it because it was my first gun.
I remember this is 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever it was. And I have a friend of mine, and Clover and I have a good friend that used to work with Walther, who's now with another company. And he had sent us PPQs, and PPQ in my book is one of the best guns ever, to be honest with you. It's definitely as good, if not better than any stock trigger I've ever pulled. I love the PPQ, still in my carry rotation today. So this person had reached out and said, hey, anything, else you want? And I was like, my daughter actually, at the time, my daughter liked 380. And I said, well, that, it's one of those kind of easy slide racks and all that. Easier, I should say. So I said, well, that PK 380 looks kind of cool. My daughter might like that, but I'll do a video on it. And he sends it to me, and I was just like, and I feel bad, but like, I can't like give it a glowing review, I mean, I told the truth. It shot well. The trigger's not terrible. It shot pretty accurately, but it just feels like trash. It just feels cheap. And I said that, and I felt terrible for it, but there is no way to sugarcoat how bad that gun looks and feels. I mean, there's just no way. What do? You got to tell the truth. I mean, it's like it shoots great. It's probably it cycles everything. It's not going to malfunction, but it just looks cheap and feels cheap to me.
Yeah, the trigger wasn't bad in it at all.
Not bad.
It's single action. It was good.
Single action, yes, yeah.
But yeah. No, the PPQ is a great gun. I got my first PPQ hanging there on the wall, and
what a great.
My only issue with the PPQ is, but I've got really really big hands. I
do not have that problem.
The PDP fixed that problem because the frame's got a little more length on it now.
Now, does the PDP is like a flared magwell too, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what I did, but all I did with my PPQ was just put a magwell on it, and that fixed that issue for me. But
yep.
It's an amazing gun.
Yeah, the PPQ. I mean, you're never going to hear anyone that I know that's actually shot one ever say anything bad. The PPQ honestly might be one of the best guns that's come out in the last 10 years. I mean, legitimately one of the best guns. And ironically, people talk about the Canik. The Caniks are great guns. Do you know what the Canik TP9 is? It's a P99 clone.
Yeah.
The P99 clone. I mean, it is. It's a P99 clone. So the two best guns that I enjoy, as far as what I think are the best triggers stock that I've ever shot, are the PPQ and the Kinetic TP9. Well, they're both basically Walthers.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that tell you? You know, that P99 is a great gun. It really is. It's funny that people love the Kinetic TP9 and have no idea. You ask about the P99, they're like, "Oh, I don't know, never shot it." Yeah, you have. You just don't know that you shot the P99. You know.
I've done multiple videos on the channel. You can take the slide off the Canic and run it on the Walther frame.
Can you really? I didn't know that. Could you really?
So you can.
Interesting.
I can take the slide from my TP9 SFX, my PDP Pro, and my PPQ M2 and run them all on every one of those frames, and vice versa.
That's awesome. Now, what about the magazines? Are they different? Can they all interchange, like the P99, or let's say that like the does the Canic interchange with any of them, or is it a proprietary mag?
Nope. The mags. So the mags are technically all the same, but you can run the Canic mags on the PDP Pro and the PPQ, but you can't run the Walther mags on the Canics because the Canics have a longer grip than both of them.
They do. You're right.
So it's because of the mags are shorter, but they're the exact same mags.
Unless you can go find like an aftermarket, like 19 round magazine for Walther, maybe it would work in a Canic. I don't know.
So basically, like if you can't find Walther mags, you can buy the Canic mags, and they're going to work in all your Walthers.
Yep. Let's go through before I bring Clover in, because Clover probably doesn't even remember the first gun he bought for Carrie, but let's go through the list real quick. Defense Dad says Taurus G2C. Chicago Mike says Carry gun Canic TP9 SF. Jacob says I was going to carry the Llama 380. I bought it was my first carry. However, it's broken now. Go figure. Jason Stewart said 92 Centurion Tactical Wilson Combat. Holy snap. I didn't know that Wilson did a 92. Interesting. Doesn't surprise me, but I wasn't aware that was a thing. Mario says Canic TP9 version 2 has a decocker. Rich White says M&P Shield Gen 1 and 40 Smith. Everyone makes a mistake, and you made yours right off the bat in 40 Smith. But hey, at least you bought a Shield. That's a great gun. Wes said the Shield 9. Smith mandatory carries. Smith & Wesson was that 4006? I can't read that weird ass. Is that what that is? Is that a gun? Chris Clover Smith & Wesson 4006.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of that. Because the California Highway Patrol had just adopted them. So is that a revolver, I guess? I'm assuming.
No, it's a later gen. One of the ones like Snobs into, you know.
Oh, like the third gen Smiths and all that stuff. Okay. Let's see here. Guns and Barbecue says my first carry gun was a Ruger P95. Bought it to be my duty weapon when I worked armed security. There you go. Ozzy says Ruger SP101 and 357. That's pretty cool. Defense Dad says almost bought a Shield Plus yesterday. There's one used one in the case for $299. That is a steal. Go buy it. Go buy it. Shield Plus you can't go wrong with. I'm a huge fan of the Shield platform. That was my first gun that I bought specifically for carry. Was the original Shield, and the Shield. Whether you like it or not, I don't think anyone will ever argue that the Shield changed the game for carry guns. It set the bar for a long, long time for that subcompact carry gun. Most people that were carrying 10 years ago probably had a Shield. Let's be honest, you know. John Grimm out there says, great question. Goes, hey, I only ask the great questions. First gun I bought was a Beretta PX4 Storm. Holy hell. Just saw it. Like to have a different carry pistol now. Well, we all have different carry pistols now. I've got a PX4 Storm. I think it's a pretty cool gun. It's definitely a different gun. But I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I've got one. I don't shoot it very often, hardly ever anymore, but it's a pretty cool gun. Fix says, all I remember was a 38 revolver. There you go. Let's see here. Keep going down. Wes says, I have a Shield 9 Plus. Loves it. Yep. Guns and Barbecue says, oh, the P95, bought it for security. Still have it. Never get rid of it. Had to draw it once. Too sentimental for me. There you go. Chicago Mike says, I saw a used PPQ for $200. Wow.
Yeah, that would be gone in a heartbeat.
That
Uh,
one.
I'll buy them all day long for that. I'll mortgage my house to buy them at that. Like, seriously.
that's
Holy moly.
never heard that. Now, the only man, what the hell? That maybe a misprint? I don't know. Jeez, how did you not buy that? Good Lord. Wow. Jacob wants to know, Chris, what is a 740? Oh, I know we've talked about this, but you want to enlighten young man Jacob if you would like to?
Yeah, I told him out in the side chat. And
Okay.
Or Carrie told him, yeah.
Kyle, my God, he is actually publicly admitting this. Kyle, brother. Sky CPX 380. I would not.
That's a first for those guys are a first for a lot of people, though. He's not alone.
No, a lot of people bought them. A lot of people bought something else very quickly after. But
yeah, without a doubt. But I mean, that's a lot of people's first carry gun because
it was
they're cheap
and everything.
Shops,
yeah.
Unfortunately, shops liked to talk them up.
Yeah,
because they made good profits and stuff on them. I've seen that a lot. Well, I'm going to pick on a very big chain, Atwood's Farm and Ranch, for example. They're a big chain, so screw them. I'll talk bad about them, but they would pimp those every chance they got. As oh, you need this. You're looking for a carry, get this guy. You need this guy, and knowing full well they were garbage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Go ahead.
Speaking of guns, did you see the new Smith & Wesson 22 mag that came out today?
I did not. I'm surprised Clover hasn't already done a video on it.
I've only got to watch 2 reviews on it so far. I watched Honest Outlaw, and then I'm not going to say the other guy's name because
they're just copying the Walther, basically.
Yeah, it looks a lot nicer though. I hate to say that too, as much as I like Walther, but it looks a lot nicer than the WMP. Yeah, they came out with the mag capacity on it is insane too.
What is it?
30.
Keltec's been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about Keltec. You can say what you want to about Keltec, but Keltec has been ahead of the curve for engineering and all of that for years. We'll trash them, but they'll end up using their designs later on in life.
So everybody knows I'm a FUD. And so with everybody knowing that, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people's going to know what I'm going to say. I am still not on board with a rimfire magazine fed capacity above 10. Geometry, rim thickness, all other things at play with that particular cartridge. I'm sorry. I don't see it as a long-term reliable option.
Well, and that was what I wanted to say about that was, so Honest Outlaw had a ton of trouble with feed issues with that gun.
You go.
The other video that I watched, the guy's actually sponsored by Smith & Wesson, and he didn't have any issues with the gun. So, so I'm going to watch some more videos on it. But it's a neat looking gun. It'd be a fun one just for a range gun, something to play around with.
Was the second guy Jerry?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Finstad PBQ SC is my favorite carry gun that I have. Absolutely. Stop.
God.
Stop.
Hey, now what did he say? Canic was better than Glock? Now what if the Glock had a vortex on it, Mike? But what if the Glock had a vortex? That's the question I've got for Mike. Is it still, is the Mechanic still better than the Glock if the Glock has a vortex? Now be honest, bro. Come on.
It's a fair question. That's a fair question. Yeah.
Gotta rip on Mike a little bit.
A little bit. Gary says his was the Taurus TCP 380. I don't even know what the TCP is. Maybe if I saw it, I would. If I saw
it, that was Taurus's attempt at the LCP, basically. Yeah, it wasn't good. That way.
I'm surprised, honestly. We haven't seen a bunch of LCPs out there. Honestly, let's see here. Man, I gotta catch up. Here. I think it's more right. Defense doesn't say Gary's first carry goes a flintlock. I think that's a little more accurate.
Blunderbuss, maybe.
Yeah. Holy cow! Lance is calling, saying hi from Florida. He's on vacation. You gotta have much better things to do right now than to watch this shit show.
Watch out for the undertow or whatever's causing the problem.
Yeah, don't go out there in the undertow. Don't be like Mallet. Yeah. Defense Stat says next carry going to be the HK SPF 9 CC when it comes out. Shrunk down VP9. I'm all for that, but I don't know if Chris had to leave or what. We'll give him a few minutes if he wants to come back in. Maybe he has pushed the wrong button.
I think he drank one too many Coors Light and hit the wrong
I
button.
think he had some Coors Light there for sure. There he is. He's back.
That was weird. I don't know what happened there.
I think Clover was right. You had way too much Coors Light and you just pushed the wrong button, Let's see here. Jacob out there. So if you guys aren't familiar with Jacob, Jacob's a young man who just got into guns several years ago, and we've been very blessed to have him on the show since he kind of got into guns. And he has brought some of the most insightful, great questions this show has ever had. He asked great questions because he was honestly trying to learn more about guns. And it's kind of cool to see him in his journey. But he said, I've seen several used handguns on the shelf at his local gun shop that were actually priced pretty low compared to the others in my area. Several times it come and go out in the same day. It happens. I mean, that's what, you got to be an opportunistic buyer like Clover.
You're not down there far enough, but he says, I'll click on it since I am. He said, I saw 8 police use shotguns put up at LGS and they were gone within a week. So yeah, a lot of police trade-ins are usually priced right. I think John even is talking about police trade-ins up there, but yeah, police trade-ins, keep an eye out for that stuff because they're usually pretty good shape and they're usually pretty good deals and they will go quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Can we all agree that the Taurus Curve is the best carry gun?
The Speculum or whatever. The Spectrum is right there with it too, I think.
Yeah.
The Curve was cool looking. It gets props for cool looking for sure.
I will give you that. Now, I've actually never shot one, but everyone that I know that has said it was trash.
Now,
as far as shooting it.
Now, if it would actually curve the bullet, they would have had something.
That would be cool. What was that? Was that Salt or what was that?
That was
Salt. It was the other Angelina Jolie movie. Not remember. Salt.
It was one name on it though.
Yeah, but that was pretty cool.
Somebody will name it out there. But yeah,
McAvoy. That was one of his first movies that I remember seeing him in. He's a phenomenal actor.
Definitely Angelina Jolie. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Curving the bullets.
That's right. Let's see here. All right, let's go to Clover. You haven't answered this question. You've had plenty of time to think back in the Rolodex and figure out what the first gun that you bought specifically to carry.
I believe the Burst of Thunder 45. I believe first I bought to carry.
Yeah, bought specifically for the purpose of carrying.
Yeah. I think the Burst of Thunder 45. I think the reason. I had to have the knockdown power. At the time, the Thunder 380 was the go-to concealed carry, but I had to have the knockdown power. So I got the 45, baby.
How'd that work out for you? Was it a frame 45?
Yeah, but it's heavy. It's all metal. It's a pretty phenomenal gun for what it is. Yeah. and I moved from there into the Paradise Warthog, and then moved from there into the
Oh,
LTT.
and people like, what happened to Paraorder? Like, no one talks about those anymore. Like, what happened to them? Be honest.
They had some issues. They just at the time they were not following the poly micro trend. You know what I mean? And so because of that, my opinion, and the fact they were made in Canada, and Canada has had some pretty draconian laws passed, they were bought out by the controlling parties of Remington. And then Remington basically shelved them at that. They changed the Para USA for a little while, but not very long. And then Remington shelved them, and it's just been, the name's been sitting ever since, pretty much.
Yeah.
But Para had some very cool firearms. They had a GI model 1911.
But I always want to know
Pretty
what
awesome.
now happened to them. You know, they just kind of went away. Now I know why they got shelved.
That's basically what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just asking a question here.
He will correct you. Yes.
Wasn't Para kind of the original company that made a 2011? Weren't they like the original company?
Oh yeah, the double stacks. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Their TAC 9, the TAC 5.
Yeah.
That's what I was fixing to say. The two most awesome handguns, and that Para. Talking about Para Ordnance, the original from Canada, because the ones that they made under Remington sucked. Like everything else Remington made under Remington, I guess. But anyway, the Para Ordnance Warthog, double stack, small frame, 45, 1911. Why not? Right? And then the Para Ordnance TAC 5, which was a double stack 9mm, essentially a 2311. And I had the opportunity to buy a freaking TAC 5, and I passed on it. And this was quite a few years back, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And Ghost knows, because I bitch about it all the time. Like, I should not have passed on that. Like, they didn't make them anymore. I knew it. It was a decent buy. It wasn't a steal. It was a decent buy, and I passed on it. And I wished I hadn't, because those are my two favorite pairs by a long stretch.
There are a few guns. We've known each other for 6 years now. There are a few guns, not many, but a few guns that still haunt you, and that is one of them. That you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was a banging price. It was a fair price.
Yeah.
But what it's worth now, you would have made money on it.
They're 1,000 plus now if you find. I mean, easily the TAC 5s are. They're 1,000 plus. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember there's been a couple that have haunted you.
But Chris is absolutely right. That's the OG, basically the OG.
Yep.
2311.
Oh, show. My first gun specifically to carry was the Shield. I think we talked about that earlier. And I remember buying that because it was, there were a lot of guns like the Glock 19 and all that could be used to carry, you know, but that was the first gun that I remember in a 9mm that wasn't either full size or anything like that, but it was like a good subcompact size that was literally designed for carry. It's very slim profile, easy to carry, you know, which I enjoy. Especially if you carry like I do inside the waist, the slim profile of the Shield made it really easy to carry, especially for someone like me that's not a big person. So yeah, I've always enjoyed. I remember I told a story that when I started shooting IDPA, they always said, shoot the gun in competition. I wanted to shoot the CCP division. They said, well, shoot the gun that you carry. So I go to my first local match, got like 25, 30 people in it, and I'm shooting my Shield in competition and wondering why the hell I get waxed. You know, first of all, it was my first competition, so I didn't really know everything, but I'm getting like destroyed. I didn't come in last. I actually came in like in the top, let's say 2/3, but I had no chance because I was shooting the Shield and everyone was shooting Glock 19s, not knowing at the time that the CCP division in IDPA was literally designed for the Glock 19. Like the maximum dimensions that you could fit inside the box is the exact size of a Glock 19. So everyone's running the Glock 19. Well, what do I start doing? I start shooting my Glock 19 in competitions, all that. But yeah, the Shield was a great one. I still recommend. Now, there's so many different variations and models and versions and generations of the Shield, but I will tell you that you can still find a first gen, just regular M&P Shield out there. And you can probably get them for a really good price. Buy it. If you can get it for like 200, 250, probably well under 300, I can guarantee you the first gen Smith Shields. Buy them because they're still, even used, they're still going to be great. So I definitely do that. I tell you one that has come a long way in the last couple of years with me. Obviously, you guys know I'm a Beretta guy, but when Beretta came out with the APX, which was their kind of first 9mm striker fired, I got it immediately. And I tell you what, man, the more and more I shoot that APX, man, I really do enjoy that. I don't know, Chris, Clover, either one of you guys have any experience with the APX?
I've never shot one.
Oh, man, you got to shoot it, bro. You got to shoot. It's a great gun. I think you'd really like it. You like the PDP, so I think you'd really like that Apex, the APX, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, really, really good. Have you ever shot the APX?
Yeah, I've shot an APX. Yeah,
Have you?
yeah. I like the PX Thors.
Yeah.
Back, and I don't have a problem with the APX. Like I'm okay with it.
Yeah, really. If you guys haven't, go check the APX out because you can probably find those for decent prices. They're a few years old now, so you can probably find the original generation for decent prices. But yeah, let's see here. My local gun range, I am a member of, actually has an IDPA match coming up, an event called the Holiday Havoc. I still haven't gone to them, but you need to. I'll put it this way, Jacob. Even if you don't decide yet to shoot at it, what I think you should do is go and watch. That's the best thing anyone can ever do before you shoot an actual match, no matter what kind of match it is. Go watch one. Even when I went before I shot my first long range, Buck and I, Tactical Foe, drove to Missouri and watched the match up there. That way you can learn and watch, see how things happen and all of that. But just go, Jake. I really do think, I'll tell you this. I shot some USPSA, but I'm not a big USPSA guy. Chris is. I'm IDPA. There's a lot of Steel Challenge. I know Clover's done a lot of Steel Challenge and precision stuff. No matter what organization or what discipline that you're talking about, to my experiences, the competitive shooting world is one of the most welcoming and awesome ways to be in firearms. I've literally seen people that run out of ammo at matches and people say, here, take some of my ammo. I've seen guns break down. People say, hey, use my backup gun, but they'll tell you what you need to do. They'll make sure that you're not breaking any rules, that you're not going to get kicked off the range or whatever. They're going to be so welcoming and warm. That's what I do love about the shooting sports as a whole. It is an awesome environment. So what I'll tell you this, Jacob, even if you're not going to shoot it, go to that match and just watch, have a blast, talk to them, talk to them while they're loading up their mag for the next stage or whatever. Ask questions, hell, volunteer if you want, and maybe, tape up targets at a stage or something. God knows we need more people to tape up because most competitors don't like to tape themselves, at least in my experiences. Lazy bastards. It's usually the same 3 or 4 people taping up everything every stage. And the other 6 guys are like, oh, reload my magazine. Anyways, but yeah, go check it out. I know Chris and Clover, you both been involved a long time with competitive shooting as well. What are your thoughts on just going out there and watching?
I think it's a great idea. And
yeah, I say don't just watch, but help out and get involved if you can.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Get there an hour early because I want you to be able to see people checking in. I want you to be able to see how people have to handle their weapons. in a cold zone or whatever. Well, 100% help set up and understand how matches are run, but you'll be there for the safety briefing. You'll be there for all that. Stick around for the awards and usually the best part of a shot of a match is usually the drawings, the raffle drawings. That's what everyone sticks around for. Let's be honest. But yeah, there's something really awesome about any kind of match, and it's just a brotherhood out there, and they'd love to have you come out there and ask as many questions as you want. So I would definitely do that for sure. Let's see here. Those competitions are Julian. Yeah, they're just a great community. And I've loved, like I said, I've been fortunate to shoot a lot of different disciplines in competition, a lot of different organizations in competition. And I've never been to a match that I didn't just have fun and have a warm feeling about. It's great. It really is. It's a great, whether or not you ever shoot Jacob in a competition or not, I think you would have an absolute blast going out and watching. Go watch 2 or 3 of them before you decide if you want to shoot them or not. I think you'd be surprised that it's not as overwhelming or as, I don't know, nerve-wracking or
shooting sports is one of those things. Shooting sports is one of those things that's really weird, and you and Chris both could even chime in on your experience, but shooting sports is one of them things to where it's super competitive. But then unlike any sport really at the same time, it's not. It's weird. And you have to go and you have to be there to understand that. But it's like super competitive, but then at the end of the day, like it's so nice and civil and cordial and helpful and friendly, and it's weird.
It is.
It's not like Little League baseball. Let me put it that way.
No. I tell you what's funny about shooting sports, especially if you're a newbie, you're going to get everyone helping you. They're going to help you with everything. They're going to teach you, give you tips. They're going to all sorts of cool stuff because at that point, you're no threat to them. They think.
Yep.
Now, is the second you start becoming a threat to them, they'll still be nice, but they're not going to give you tips anymore. They'll laugh and they'll joke and they'll hang out with you, but they are definitely not going to give you tips that they were a couple months ago when you were a newbie. As soon as they are a newbie and they can see, oh, this dude can shoot. Okay, I am not going to help this guy. I'm going to be nice. They're going to be friends. But yeah, you're right. They're still that competitive. It is still a competition. But the second that people start thinking you might be a threat to them, that's why, honestly, this is just me. There's a lot of people that are going to want to shoot the same squad. So when you shoot a competition, most of the time, especially IDPA, USPSA, I can't speak for a lot of them. I know Steel Challenge you can, but you can actually pick usually what squad you're in. You can see who's in that squad. So if you have buddies, try to squad up together and all of that. I typically, a lot of people will like to shoot in the squad with a lot of people in the same division. They want to be able to see who they're competing against and all that. I don't like that because I find myself competing against that person or those people at that point. So when I squad up, I'll squad up with friends of mine, but usually my friends don't shoot CCP. They're usually shooting other divisions. But I won't shoot. I try not to squad up with anyone that's in my division because I want to shoot my own match. I don't want to be trying to keep up with the Joneses. I don't want to, because all my folks will be on that one because I'm cut your throat competitive. And I don't want that. I want to shoot my match. And at the end, wherever my time and score is what my time and score is, That's just me. What are your thoughts, Clover, on squatting up? What do you do?
So the vast majority of mine, the way it would work, and this is where we're talking firearms, archery, shotgunning, whatever. But the vast majority of mine, what they would do is they would break you down, and you're right, whether you were 3 or 4 or 5, usually it wasn't more than about 5. They would break you down, and nobody would be directly competing with the other, any of those people. So you would have different age groups, you'd have different classes, something, right? Yeah, no, you had no two people that were direct competitors in a group, in a squad. We didn't really call them squads, but in a group, they
Yeah.
would try to break it down to where that was the case for the exact reason you're talking about. And for a couple of reasons. Number one is they wanted to kind of break up a lot of the ones that I would go to. Part of it too is being able to interact with people and meet people you don't know and become friends. And there's a
Yeah.
little all the stuff I've done has been a little bit of a social aspect to it. And so they
Sure.
would do that too to try to mix it up so you could meet and get to know other people as well.
Absolutely.
But it was nice because you're right. You're always worried about how good did so and so do, or is this other person doing, right? Because you're a stage
True.
behind them or whatever, and you're kind of wondering about them. But at the end of the day, you're having conversation with these people, and it's much more lighthearted, and there's a lot less stress, I guess. All you really got to worry about at that point is just shooting your game, whatever it may be. You can focus on shooting your game, because a lot of times what in competitions, and I'm sure this is across the board in anything you're competing in, but a lot of times you can get in your own head, right, about what other people are doing when you need to be focusing on your game. And
Right.
that's one of the things as an instructor, as an coach, I would always talk about my kids. And I'm like, don't worry about what somebody else is doing. You shoot your game. Worry
Yep.
about you. If the scores come out and you win or you place or you whatever, great. But you worry about what you're doing, not what somebody else is doing, because what they're doing doesn't affect your score.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Real quick, Jacob was asking the different tiers in IDPA. It's been a couple years since I shot, but basically, like, if I'm correct, I think I've got them the right way. I think the higher the number, the higher level it is, and all that. Tier 1 was like a local match where they're going to inspect all your gear, but it's usually like maybe 20 or 30 people at those matches, and usually it's only like maybe 5, 6, 7 stages, not a full 10, 15 stage match. It's just local. It's the tier 1s are something that you would probably really enjoy, Jake, if you can find a tier 1 match around you. It's what they call local matches. What we call local matches around here. I don't know if you guys call them local matches up in Ohio or not, Chris, or not, but we call them
exactly
local
right.
matches. Okay. And they're just fun matches. Usually they're on maybe a Saturday afternoon, a Sunday afternoon or something. And it's a social event. It's obviously competitive, but it's more of that introductory to the competitive shooting world. So if you can find a tier 1 match, tier 2 is a little bit more, tier 3 is a little bit more, tier 4, tier 5. Now you're starting talking about state level, regional level, national level matches and all of that. But if you can find like a tier 1, maybe even a tier 2 match in your area, I think that you'd be great in trying those. It's going to be more of an introductory to the shooting sports, and it's a lot more laid back. Are you going to get that go hard and it's going to be out there that's trying to, John Wick in a local match? Sure. But more of the local matches are just fun matches. They take about a half a day instead of taking a day or 2 days, like some of the higher tier regional, state, and national matches. But they're really, really fun. The first couple that I ever shot were local matches down a couple hours from here, and I couldn't have had my experiences in those are what brought me back. And then I started going to Oklahoma and Texas for these matches because of my experiences with those tier 1 local matches right off the bat. Phenomenal matches. If you can find one, go for it. Chris, you can speak more to like USPSA if you want. What are the different tiers over there?
Okay, so USPSA, instead of tier, they just say level. So you got level 1, 2, 3. So level 1's all your local matches. Level 2 is going to be a state match or like a benefit match, like a big match that has a lot of sponsors.
Yeah.
And then level 3 is going to be your national matches or area matches. So I think in USPSA there's 8 areas. So like I'm
regions.
I'm in area 5 where I live.
We used to call them regions in IDP. I don't know if they still are. When I was shooting, they were regional matches. Is that what but probably the same thing as area, I'm assuming.
So like me, I'm in Area 5, so it's like Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, Tennessee. There's like 7 states in an area. Those are all going to be level 3 matches. But
And
they're
a lot
all
of
the
those are qualifiers
same.
for national, correct?
What's that?
Those are typically qualifiers for nationals.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Or you just get
do
big,
really well in an area match, you're definitely going to get an invite to nationals.
Yeah.
So, like with the way nationals work, there's going to be probably 2/3 of them are going to be invite only, and then for the other third, they'll actually be open, or you can get on a wait list. So
Now, do you have to have and USPSA? I've never shot anything nationals USPSA, but do you have to have a certain points scale, accumulated points throughout the season to even qualify for nationals? Or when you say that the last third is truly kind of open, is it open for anyone, or do you have to have at least some kind of points gathered?
So there's but you might end up on a wait list with like nationals. Like me, I shot my first area match when I was still a C-class shooter. So you can get in. It's just, but it's kind of like a lottery thing. So
no, they're great. Now Clover, with some of the precision stuff or steel challenge stuff, I think Jacob, I think
challenge is under IDPA, governed by IDPA. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I speaking of steel challenge, I think that you would have a blast shooting steel challenge, Jacob. Really, I think that'd be fun for you. Also, go check those out as well.
The perk of steel challenge is that, with the exception of one stage, there's literally zero movement. So especially somebody. That's the beautiful thing about shooting sports, is those that may be challenged in some way. Like you can find a shooting sports that you get from a wheelchair that you can.
Well, there's also Glock matches out there. Not prevalent as much anymore, but the Glock shooting sport matches are kind of cool.
Now for Mike, just so Mike understands, in a Glock match you have to shoot a Glock. I'm just saying.
You got to shoot a Glock. You can can bring it, but you won't be able to.
So I've shot a lot of different things. And it's basically the same as what you guys are talking about. I've shot stuff from archery to shotgun to precision to slow fire stuff to you name it, right? Even what am I thinking? Dang it, Milsert rifle, military.
Nice.
Dang it, what do they even call that? It escapes me now. But anyway, where you're shooting M1 Grands or M1 carbines or whatever. Anyway. So typically what I suggest is hit up some of your local ranges and local gun shops and ask about the local matches, because that's where it starts. And then you kind of get involved with that group and those particular people around you. Maybe several different gun shops, several different ranges, that have local stuff within a county area or whatever. And then you'll learn about more regional stuff. Right. And then you'll just you'll learn how to move up. But most of the stuff I've done, it's basically your local matches are pretty much open to anybody. You pay your fee, you come in, you shoot. The regional matches are pretty much open to anybody. You come in, you do your thing and shoot. State matches go through qualifiers.
That's correct.
National goes through qualifiers. So you could skip theoretically all the way to nationals. Like if you were bad to the bone and just didn't want to waste your time with the petty people that shoot regional matches or state matches, right? You could just go shoot a national qualifier and then shoot, clean house, clean, shop, and go shoot the national match, So it's a little different with a lot of stuff I do.
You know the CMP Grand Challenge events?
Yeah, it's dang it, I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it's something along those lines. They're not CMP what we do.
Okay.
Service rifle competitions.
Oh, okay. So Jacob, there's also something you want to think about. If you find a range around you that's going to host a USPSA or an IDPA event, typically those ranges will host a monthly match, especially their tier 1, maybe tier 2. Most tier 1, like local matches, club matches, if you will, they're going to host those once a month. Now, the cool thing is if they're hosting an IDPA once a month, the other weekends they might be running USPSA, a steel challenge, a 3-gun, whatever, a cowboy shoot, whatever. That range is probably hosting some sort of match every weekend. It's just that once a month will be IDPA or whatever, but every weekend they probably have a match going. So if you find a range that does one every weekend, different kinds, go to all of them. Figure out, hell, you might even enjoy the cowboy shoots. That might be
what
your
I was
thing.
fixing to say. I was just fixing to say we're discounting, or we're not discounting. We're just forgetting because there's so much. There's
Yeah.
anything you can shoot in any way you can shoot it.
Yep.
There's a competition in a league and there's matches for that, right? And
Absolutely.
so broaden your horizons and look for all kinds of stuff. Bowling pin matches are amazing. Amazing. I love bowling pin matches. It's simple, it's easy, you know.
He says they have cowboy and IDPA events every
Cowboy
month.
is
Man,
so fun.
dude, even if you don't compete in a cowboy,
It's fun to
the
even go
first
to.
cowboy I ever saw was I was shooting a state match here in Arkansas, in the same right on the other side of the berms and all that from the pistol range. They were running the state competition for cowboy also. And if you've ever been to a state match and you've got 150, 200, 250 shooters, it's a long ass day, right? Like you're waiting a lot.
Oh yeah.
So we would go and we knew we had an hour between each stage. So we would jump over there and we'd go up on top. We had some picnic tables and some shade and we watched the cowboy shoots. It was more fun just to watch a cowboy shoot than anything I've ever seen in my life. It is awesome. It's hilarious, but it is a great time.
Yeah, he's commenting out there. He's commenting out there that it's with cowboy shoots. It's down to the dress. Yeah, you actually get points for.
And they have their own names. Like they have their own cowboy. Yeah. They don't go by, Trey Miller or Chris Dover. They go by their hey, I'm Billy the Kid or whatever. They have their own cowboy names.
And I will say I've shot in a couple of called the East Texas Rough Riders League here, and I've shot in a couple of cowboy matches here, and I did not dress the period, and I was still welcomed in with open arms to shoot in their match.
Okay, I was going to ask you.
No, that goes back to the welcoming attitude that there is with shooting sports. Now, don't get me wrong, I would not get any points for the dress and da. So, like, I would have no chance of winning a cowboy shoot going in there with street clothes, But you can go shoot it. Like they don't have a problem with that. They welcome you to come in and, they'll look at your guns and comment on what you have and all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, it's still a welcome. That was a welcoming environment. I'm going to say, there's jack wagons and everything, but that was a welcoming environment. But I first of all, with the East Texas heat and cowboy, those period correct cowboy clothes and stuff are hot. There wasn't breathable textiles back then. And so, I don't know how they get out there in the 80, 90 degree, 100 degree heat and that kind of stuff. And
I don't know either.
But there are, that's what I was fixing to say. There are folks that take it really, really seriously on the dress side of that and everything. And that's pretty awesome. But like I said, it's not something that you necessarily have to do.
I was talking that same weekend. I was talking to our match director at that state. Competed in the cowboy stuff for years. He was like 80 something. So he kind of retired from competitions, but he had shot that stuff forever. And the funny thing is he was saying that like when you showed up to the range and you stepped out of your vehicle, like for the cowboy, like I said, a lot of them have their cowboy names. They don't go by their names. They have their like own identity. And the second you step out of your car, like you're in that identity. You're no longer Chris or Trey or whatever. It's you are Kid or Red or whatever you're, that you go by in that cowboy world. Like most people might not even know your real name. They just might know as your cowboy name.
And they'll change the way they talk and their dialect even. Yeah. I mean, they play it up. They play it up. A lot of them really, really
awesome.
Well.
It's awesome.
I know with them, you would go and then like my buddy that I'd go with, that it would invite me down there to participate or whatever. It'd be like, oh, it'd be over, and it's like, hey, let's go by here. On the way home, we're gonna go here and grab some lunch or whatever. And you'd go and you'd eat lunch, and maybe Buddy and 3 or 4 other people you just met, and you get in there and you sit down to eat, and they talk just like me and you, like the regular Texas talk.
They got up howdy there, partner.
But they got all the proper like Doc Holliday talk, when they're out there. It's pretty cool. And they would even have exhibitions, which some of that's cool, like some of the mounted shooting and stuff with cowboy shooting is amazing. And if you've never shot from horseback, like it takes a special horse for that.
Yeah.
Like not all horses are gonna they'll just jump on a horse and assume that horse is gonna be okay with you shooting guns, because they're not usually. And so it's really cool to see some of the exhibitions, and they also do like OK Corral. They're using blanks, obviously, but a lot of that, and usually the exhibition people are not the competitors. Let me caveat that. The reenactment people, but that's a part of it, because the place where they shoot here, the cowboy action, the Rough Riders shoot, it's an old saloon street town. You know what I mean? Like all the buildings and stuff are up. And so they'll have shootout when each building is its own stage and stuff. But during intermissions and breaks, they'll do shootouts in the street, or they'll do quick draw reenactments. I'll challenge you and meet me at noon, or something will go on, and the next thing you know, they're doing that. It's just cool.
So funny you mentioned that, because the same way at the range that they had this at, it was its own like plywood buildings, saloons, and hotels. All that, but it's like Tombstone,
it's like a legit little town. Yeah,
a legit little town. And like you said, each building is its own.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Some good, strong straight line winds would probably do a lot of damage to it.
I said
structurally that sounds, but it looked
good. They're plywood at the best, at the most.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's structurally sound, but it looks good. But that's about
it. They had different things throughout the day. Once again, I never been around once. We could hear it. It's just over the berm over here.
Did they have a chuck wagon doing the cooking?
They had a chuck wagon doing the cooking. You could go and get coffee, and you could get like red eye gravy. You could get, and if you got coffee, they're going to give you like in a can, and like it was, they did right. And at noon. At noon, which is I think is cool, is both matches decided that at noon would be lunch. They're going to cut for 30 minutes or 45 minutes for lunch, and all of us went to the cowboy side where they had barbecue, right? But what they did is that noon they had like a bunch of different reenactments. That was our entertainment during lunch. They had. At high noon, they had 2 guys walked out in the middle of town and did the draw. It was one of those. It was just awesome. It was, the whole thing is awesome. Like, I would never shoot cowboy, but I would go watch a cowboy match anytime I could. They're just great. They really are. Now, we'll say this: if there was a competition, and I'll go through the room real quick. If there's a competition that I've never shot that I would like to shoot, I would be interested in 3-gun, but I really think that I would have a blast at 2-gun. I think 2-gun for me would be a perfect thing with handgun and rifle. I would love a cool 2-gun competition. 3-gun would be fun, but if there was a 2-gun out there around here, I'd go shoot 2-gun all the time. I think that'd be a blast. We'll start with you, Chris. If there was a different type of match or discipline of a match that you've never shot that you want to shoot one day, what would it be?
I'm going to have to go with 2-gun too. I've shot 3-gun, and I don't like it because of how long you have to wait between stages. There's so much setup and so much gear. I think 2-gun would be super cool. I would, if I've only shot one, if I would have never said I shot one, I'd say the rifle series matches. Those are a lot of fun too.
They are a blast.
But yeah, I've never done 2-gun, but I'm actually thinking about trying one this year.
The 2-gun, that's rifle, just rifle and pistol, right?
Rifle pistol. Yeah. Rifle pistol for sure. Yeah, precision matches are fun. I never thought I was going to enjoy them. I wasn't sure. Man, they are fun. They are really, really fun. I remember talking with Clover when I started even thinking about getting into the sniper game thing. And I told him, I said, for me, a lot of it is I enjoy math and I'm weird. I enjoy the calculations. I enjoy trying to figure out what adjustments you need to make and all of that. I think it's fun. And that was one of the big reasons why I got into it, is it's going to be a challenge. But the long range precision stuff especially is just really, 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 really fun. Clove, is there something that either you haven't shot that you would like to, or something that you've only shot maybe once that you wish you do more of, or what?
I'm gonna throw everybody for a loop here, because there is something that I've never shot that I would like to, and that's outdoor, like Olympic style archery.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't. And now, do you have any experience with like Olympic style airsoft, like rifle or anything? Have you ever tried anything like that?
Yeah.
What's that like? Is that pretty fun?
It is. It's a completely different game. A lot of folks look at air rifle and they think that that's subservient or whatever to firearms, and air gun is entirely more difficult. If your fundamentals are not completely sound, because that projectile does not move out of that barrel nearly as fast. If your follow through, if your form, if your other things are the least bit off, you're going to notice it with air for sure. So if you want to be a better proficient firearm shooter, get some BB guns and some pellet guns and stuff like that, and play around with that, because it will make you a better shooter for sure.
Kyle says he's always wanted to learn to shoot a bow.
I can teach you that.
Yeah. You know what we should do? We should get together. A bunch of us just get together sometime. Hell, come down here. Arkansas might be in the middle between Kentucky and all of these different places, but
we've all got to teach each other something and then learn some other things.
No, that's what I'm saying is it's like, okay, so like, someone's going to work on this. Like, let's say Chris is going to do, hey, we're going to do a thing on USPSA or the run and gun type thing. I could do like long range shot. Clover could do archery or something like that. We could all bring someone to the table. And I think that'd be really, really fun just to kind of hang out. And then at night we can do cookouts and just hang and be friends and not do it for content. Like, no cameras allowed. Just come be friends and let's shoot some cool shit together. That could be really, really fun. I don't want to do it like it's a range day and all that, where it's all about content. I don't want content. I don't want people filming. I just want to come and hang out with friends and do some cool ass shit. Kyle says I can eat crayons. Yeah, we can do that with the best of them. But I think that'd be fun and all that. But yeah, I've shot bows before. That was like, and when I say this, if you're not from Texas, you won't know, but Clover will know. That's what I used to go to Sky Ranch every year for summer camp. And Sky Ranch, you shot bow and arrows, but they're like the cheap ones you shoot at like 10 feet or whatever. You shoot a little 22 rifle and all that. But my only experience with a bow is at Sky Ranch as like a 10-year-old or 12-year-old, whatever it was. I will say this, I learned quite a bit from listening to Clover last year in 2022 at the gathering. A bunch of us stayed together, Chris, Clover, and I, and then Ron and all those guys. But Ron brought
he's big into it. Yeah.
He dove head deep into it. He had just kind of started not too long before that.
Yeah, we geeked out big time.
You guys geeked out, and I had no idea what the hell y'all were talking about, but it was fascinating.
Yeah.
Not to the point that I went out and bought a bow or even thought about it at that point. I still haven't, but it was really, 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 really cool to listen to you guys. So I think a lot of stuff is interesting.
Let me say this about archery. If for no other reason, you should get into archery because the Duke boys.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was good enough for the Duke boys, it's good enough for us. By God.
Yeah. No, not in Little Rock.
But yeah, archery, like a lot of other things, the beautiful thing about archery, and that's where with the youth program, first of all, it was a gateway. So it was perceived as more safe, which actually it's less safe than firearms, as far as minor accidents and whatever are concerned. It's getting poked or nicked or things like that. A lot of sharp edges with archery. But anyway, with the younger kids, one of the cool things about archery is pulling that string back, develops arm strength. And so for kids that it's hard for them to hold the form with a handgun, right? Or hold the shotgun up or hold the rifle up or things of that nature. Archery is one of them things that's good arm, shoulder, muscle exercise that can help. So it's one of the things, especially if you've got a smaller, smaller framed, weaker kiddo, get them some kind of little bow. And there's some great little bows out there for not very much money. $100, $150 max for the complete setup with arrows and target and everything.
Yeah.
Then the fundamentals, like some of the fundamentals of just the patience and the breathing and the different things. I mean, all that transfers over to firearms as well.
Yeah. Listening to Chris, do you have any experience with bows at all?
No.
Yeah.
I do have a crossbow, which is
that's cheating.
not the same thing.
Yeah, that's cheating, man. It's cheating.
One of the beautiful things.
I think everybody should have a just they're badass.
So you pick on me about the shotgun things a lot. You don't pick on me nearly as much for archery, which I appreciate.
I don't because I don't know about it, but I'm interested in archery.
So here's a similarity between, and it's why I gravitate to really the archery and the shotgunning, right? Even though I'm awesome at archery, just so everybody knows, I don't mind admitting that. Shotgunning, I suck. I don't mind admitting that. But a common thing between the two, I like 3D archery, right? And that's out in the woods shooting at life-size replica targets or whatever it might be in various environments. You may be on the side of a hill with a creek down, 15 foot down below you, and you've got to balance on a rock while you shoot or something crazy, right? But just walking through the woods along the trails and shooting at those targets. And sometimes they're really cool targets like dinosaurs, or you remember the mother alien, right? Everybody remember? They literally have a 3D archery target life size of the mother alien, dude.
That's pretty cool.
They do. It's awesome. They have Bigfoot targets. They got all kinds of crazy stuff that you see at some of these shoots. But you get to walk through the woods, right? And it's so cool. Sporting clays is the same way, right? From stage to stage, it's set up in the woods and different things. And oftentimes there's setups across ponds and creeks and different things with, that they throw the clays. And so those are two things that the reason I enjoy it is because you're out the door. It's beautiful scenery, right? And you're not as static as you would be in, say, a bullseye competition, or you're in one bay of a pistol range or one bay on a rifle range. You know what I mean? It's just you're enjoying the outdoors, and it's the beauty of the outdoors that's there, and that makes those two particular types of competition to me even more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looked at the time. I had no idea it's over 2 hours. That's been actually a really good conversation. I had fun with that, and
I don't think we ever technically got off the poles.
We technically never did.
The poles led into the guns. Led into
carry with it. Yeah, so we never really got, which was cool. That's the best way to do it because it was just organic conversation. It was great.
Hey, Anderson got their money's worth tonight. That's what you're saying.
Shit.
So
Absolutely.
Kyle needs to go report
2 hours of the pony poles, baby.
You might have to bill them extra for that.
What the hell is this 612? Oh, okay. I know what that is. A shotgun. Yeah. Mandatory carry wants us to do a 612 review. That'd be more something that I would like. I don't think that
I'm waiting on him to send me one. I will email you my FFL info, bro. If you send it my way, I'll do it.
Yeah. Kyle says, yes, we did.
I'll also accept a super chat in the amount to pay for one if you'd rather go that way.
Absolutely. I will guarantee that if I get a super chat, including the cut that YouTube will take
Right.
to buy it, then I will literally.
You know what? I would even foot the YouTube cut for that. Quite
I will
honestly,
probably.
I'll meet him that far with it.
Yeah, I would definitely do it for that for sure.
Yeah.
It's a cool gun, but yeah, yeah. Anyways, Chris, will bring you in here. I know you got a show tomorrow night. You got a bunch of stuff going on, man. You got you're booming right now. I'm really happy for you, proud of you. You've earned everything that you're getting. But tell people where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah, tomorrow night we're going to be doing the Wednesday night live chat at 9. We're actually doing a benefit tomorrow night for one of the YouTubers' wives are really sick. So I'm going to take all the money that I get in super chats and send it to him.
Fantastic.
So yeah, this was fun tonight. I had a great time, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there's something about not having a script or anything or having an idea, just letting, instead of, I very easily could have stopped that conversation and say, okay, let's talk about this. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's a little something to the beauty of chaos. I don't know.
Well, the other thing is having a good, active live audience to help.
It's direct. Great.
That's not just squirreling all over the place. And then, take some credit. I mean, you know how to run a podcast and handle a room and all of that, and that makes a big difference too.
We've been doing it long enough, bro. It's almost second nature now. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. But it, like you said, it's easy when you got good guests and good people on the panel that your friends that you can really kind of go any direction and know that they can handle their own in any direction. And then a great crowd that's going to not only bring questions out there, but bring great comments and have a little fun with as always. Everyone knows I'm a bit of a smart ass, and I like to surround myself with smart asses. Both on the panel and out there in the crowd, and I might give you shit out there, but we all enjoy this. But it was a great all around conversation. I that's why I love doing these things. It's just the conversation is what it's all about. Who's asking something about how much does YouTube take? Usually it's roughly 40, maybe a little bit under 40, but about
depending
40.
on what it is, between 30 and 40%.
Yeah. Kyle says award-winning audience only because you're in there, buddy. Only because you're in there. But yeah, go check out Anderson Manufacturing for sure. Let them know that Ghost sent you if you do anything. They got the dissipators out there right now. They've got a great Cerakote project going on right now. The Kiger 9's out there. You've got the AM9 that Clover can brag about. He loves that thing. You've got bolt action coming down the line. A really, really, really exciting time for Anderson. And go show him some love. Would you say that Anderson's one of the guiltiest pleasures in the firearm industry? I would say that Anderson's a very guilty pleasure. A lot of people have
I
a lot
ain't
of
guilty about it. I ain't one bit guilty about it.
Sandy is a lot of people don't know that they have Anderson or whatever, but they do,
If you want to know why I like the AM9, go watch my video of the AM9 and it punching holes in the same freaking hole, and you'll know why I love my AM9.
It was impressive. Now, to be fair, what Clover won't show you is here's a little secret about gun tubers. He was shooting from a foot away.
You would see muzzle smoke or something at that distance. Come on.
No, that thing shoots, man. 308 right here. I got a lot of it put together. I got an Athlon scope on there. I got my Swagger bipod on this, the 308. So I put up here instead of the Sophia. Really excited to get this back out in the range. And now that I've got the scope on there, the bipod on there, really start kind of looking to do that, because I really, really, really think it'll be fun to shoot some PRS stuff with this, because they actually have a division called the Tactical Division, and it's only for gas run 308s. And you're only competing against gas 308s, which is awesome. So I'm looking forward to shooting this in competition as well. Chris, thanks for coming on, brother. Like I said, man, you are killing it right now, and I know that 2023 is going to be your year. You probably remember for a long, long time, for the channel, for growth, for a lot of things, a lot of firsts that you've had in 2023. But you're earning every single bit of it. So if you guys haven't gotten check out Chris with a 740, please do so. Great show on Wednesday night. Phenomenal content, very professionally done. Very proud and happy for you. I'm glad to call you a friend. So go check out Chris from the 740.
I've got a complaint. I've got a complaint about Chris's content. Right quick. I gotta air this out.
It's better than yours. Is that what your complaint is?
No. So I have been. He's releasing videos, right? And I want to do a Clover Tack reacts to one of Chris's videos. They're too long, dude. Like, make a video that's around 5 minutes that I can react to already. Come on.
I can do that.
Like anything I want to react to, I'm like, oh man, that'd be cool. Oh man, it's like 11 minutes. Oh, it's 14 minutes.
You need to do like the crappiest, like 3 minute just video ever, and title it, "Here you go, Clover."
No, don't change anything up. Yeah, for that. You'll eventually drop one, and then I'll do it. It'd be good.
Yeah, no, you're killing. I'm really happy for you. Like I said, I've seen how you work at these different events and shows, and you keep doing what you're doing, bro. It's only going to get better for you. Now, Clove, I know you don't do much, but if you were to do anything content wise, what's something that you might do?
I may have dropped a banging video on the MC14T earlier, literally 3 minutes before this started. We finished up the premiere.
Literally 3 minutes. I know.
I did that on purpose, though. That way I could link this in there. So if you caught the late notification or something crazy like that, and you're curious about the MC14T, and I don't know why you would not be, because it might very well end up being the handgun of the year.
Could be.
Yeah, go check that out. I am still teasing with that. I'm not going to give any spoilers on the video, but I'm still teasing that. Talked a little bit about EDC rotation, which I do have that 84 Beretta 84. It's still in contention. It is still a possibility. The MC14T retires and replaces the Beretta 84 in my EDC rotation. Entirely possible still at this point.
It's going to take you a little bit more, probably a few more hundred rounds to even.
Oh, I've definitely got to put. I'm not going to make a decision on EDC rotation until there's hundreds of rounds through it, and there's not at this point, right?
Yep. I wouldn't ever put something into my EDC rotation. I would say probably honestly closer to 1,000, but minimum of 500 rounds. I would say at least 100 rounds of just the carry ammo that I want to carry to make sure that 100 rounds can go through before I even put it in the station.
I've got to be comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to take quite a few rounds to become comfortable with something. I mean, I've only got about 100 rounds to it at this point, so. It'll be a while, but before the end of the year, it's a possibility that 23 is the last year for the Beretta 84 being in the carry rotation for me. It's possible.
It's very, very interesting to think about, for sure.
And they got to come out with a more selection of holsters for it, quite honestly. That gives it a little more time to come out with some stuff like that. Grips and holsters, right? I need some grips. Not that the grips on it are horrible, but I'm a grip snob in a way.
You are a grip snob.
I am. I like a lot of texture.
Not just texture, but colors also. You like.
Oh, this is true. This is true. So I really want to be able to change the grips if I carry it, and I need I need a decent holster, and so it just came out And so, there'll be some holsters in the next few months or so.
I do not want to go down this rabbit hole because we're already past time. Real quick answer, Chris. Kydex, leather, nylon, your go-to carry holster. What is it?
Kydex.
Kydex. Okay. Inside the waist, outside the waist.
Outside. Pancake.
Okay. Clover, go-to holster and inside or outside. I know it's outside, but what's
outside go-to? My number one in the rotation is Kydex, right? So that's the 42 Ryzen Kydex. Now, the interesting thing is the 84 Ryzen leather, and my third in my EDC carry rotation is the revolver, the Protector Paulie, and it rides in a hybrid. Go figure. So I cover all three bases.
You just make up your damn mind.
Right. Right. But number one in the rotation is Kydex. So we go Kydex, OWB.
We'll shill for any material,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, certain guns, that. Would you put your Ronin in Kydex? I mean, come on, dude. Come on.
No,
right.
I've got a great leather holster thanks to Ozzy. Go check out Ozzy. Ozzy makes great leather holster.
That's what I'm saying. So, yep.
Yeah, and I've got a craft holster that I'm breaking in still with a PPQ subcompact. I like it. It's still, I'm not used to leather holsters, right? So there is a breaking in period to get those guns to fit properly and to feel good and all that. So I'm still in that realm with this craft holster. It's a great holster. I'm used to Kydex where you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It's going to fit. You don't have to worry about any of that. I'm getting used to this realm of stuff, but yeah. All right. Real quick, before we go, thank you guys for always watching. Thank you guys for supporting me, whether it's through Patreon, whether it's through YouTube memberships, through or any of our affiliate links or Amazon links, or hell, super chats, or just being
Prime
here.
Day. It's Prime Day. It's Prime Day.
Prime Day. It is Prime Day. Utilize mine or Clover's or Chris's or anyone that you enjoy watching. If they have an influencer store, go check out their store. Use their links on Prime Day, and that will help support your favorite content creators as well. Doesn't have to be mine, be any of them. If your favorite of yours, go check them out. Maybe they've got an Amazon link or something, and all that. It is Prime Day. Great deals out there. Go check them out. But thank you for always supporting, no matter what it is. However, maybe a lot of it's just being here, just watching the videos, being here in the live chats and participating. That's as crucial as anything. Go check out Chris the 740. Do not go check out CloverTech. Don't waste your time. It is not worth the effort. Please unsubscribe from my channel. I go subscribe to Chris. Take my subscription and go subscribe to Chris. Don't bother with Clover. He just does fudge shit, so you don't have to worry about him. But no, there's a lot of great guys out there and gals that are doing some great work. She-Fire is doing some great work. Obviously, Snob and Gary and Obnoxious and Sarge and all those guys. There's a lot of great people. Rich White's got his own show out there. There's a lot of guys doing a lot of cool stuff. Mandatory Carry does a live stream once or so a week and all that. I suggest if you go to that one, make sure you're caught up on your meds. Just saying. No, just joking with them. But no, it's great. And next week is our 300th episode of the Armed Citizen podcast. Who would have thunk 6 years ago, Clove, that I had 300 episodes of this son of a bitch. I'm really, really happy about that. But thanks for people always watching. The giveaway is the Hyperion Munitions. Go check out HyperionMunitions.com. Check out the Precise Trigger Control. PTC. We're going to give 10 of them away in 2 weeks. All you got to do is send an email to register. You don't have to subscribe, like, share, follow anybody. Send an email to Malia@poweronmarketing.com with your name in it, and the subject is Ghost Tactical. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. The link is out there, Malia, Malia @poweronmarketing.com. With the subject Ghost Tactical, and put your name inside that email, and that's all you got to do. And 2 weeks from tonight, they'll be on the show, and we're going to give away 10 of these for free. So thank you guys so much for watching. We shall see you soon. Be safe out there. Love each other. Give your kiddos a hug. Tell someone that you love them, that you love. Don't ever go a day without saying someone that you love them. You never know when that's going to be the best thing they could hear that day. If you see someone struggling in life, be willing to extend a hand, an ear, a shoulder to cry on. Let them know that they've got someone here they can depend on. Other than that, man, just be a good citizen. Be someone that all of our heroes that have given the ultimate sacrifice to live in America, be a citizen and be a person that deserves that sacrifice. We'll talk to you soon. Semper Fi.